Good morning, class. The title of our lesson today is Organizational Competitiveness. And the reference that I am going to use in this lesson is the book Training and Development by Dr. Marivic F. Flores, Professor Angelito Ong Camilar Serrano, and Professor Rodolfo La Paz Ducot. I will read excerpts from the book and then I will give my commentaries for each excerpt that I am going to read. But before I start, let me read to you first the three important terminologies that are also found in this book, our reference book, because these three important terminologies are included in your midterm exam. So here's the three terminologies. Number one, training is the process to develop employee performance on a presently held job or one related to it. Second, development refers to learning opportunities intended to assist employees grow. Third, adaptive learning is a method that allows to be trained at their own speed. And so now let's proceed to the first excerpt from the book. Often, training is considered as a short-term activity. However, today, due to so many changes in the business environment, most organizations decide to regard training as a necessary activity for long-term strategic goals. In the past, there was not much focus on training programs in companies. They trust that employees are sufficiently trained in their education. But due to their level of performance, leaders were gradually convinced that the employees still need retraining when it comes to the overall organizational competitiveness, regardless of which university they came from. And it's not just short-term training or one-time training that companies do today. Rather, it is a lifelong companion to the operation. It is now considered that the training event is like the main event in a boxing sport event because of the results it brings to the company. Training and development has become a part of companies' strategies on how to have a competitive advantage. The second excerpt, the need to spend time for human capital is brought about by the trends like globalization, technology, outsourcing, the aging workforce, and competition for talent. Therefore, to encourage competitiveness, it is vital to identify, design, and implement strategic training and development initiatives as a key HR leadership role. Due to globalization, competition has increased internationally and even locally. So, in order to compete fairly, employees need to be trained and be developed to keep up with the trends. A company also needs to upgrade equipment, but workforce training also needs to be upgraded if that is the plan, because the supposed solution to be more efficient and at the same time increase the profit might cause more problems if the employees do not know how to operate the new technology. Even small businesses today have very intense competition due to the effects of globalization and technology. In outsourcing business firms that have a highly skilled workforce, it has given a challenge to their clients, both the employers and the employees. And these employers and employees are motivated to upgrade their skills. The same goes for a process outsourcing firms. For them to maintain their clients and to expand their operation, they need to train more workers. The third excerpt: it is believed that training is a source of competitive advantage for organizations. Employees who underwent training became efficient and later play a significant role to the growth of the firm. Trained workforce rarely leaves the organization, reflecting high retention, which causes stability. Based on many studies by experts and the testimonies of successful companies, skilled and competitive employees are one of the main keys for the company to be competitive. And in having competitive and skilled workers, the key is constant strategic training. Employers themselves can say that their best employees are those who undergo training, either training program within the company or training acquired from other organizations. When employees are highly skilled, they will perform their work easier and they will not often feel the stress. So for them, they prefer that kind of work for their own health. And because of that, it is difficult for them to resign. The next excerpt: versatility in operations is a good result of training. Employees are trained in all areas of operations, can be transferred to any job, which guarantees flexibility. Prosperity and organizational success of an organization is due mainly to quality and well-trained employees. Organizational failure comes from unqualified and poorly trained employees. It is an advantage for the company to have employees with many work skills because they can be assigned anywhere, anytime, and the company can save time and money because they do not need to hire new workers. And also, the operations will not be delayed. The company that is aware that what makes them rich are skilled workers, then they will be willing to spend for the training and the development of their employees. Because the money they spend on training will return to them even more. It hurts to say, but it's true that companies that go bankrupt are companies that don't have well trained employees. Their employees are unqualified. And if today's companies do not invest in the training of their workers, they cannot cope with the competitiveness of their competitors. Next excerpt. Employees who are not trained all the time in the latest innovation and change may fall behind, and the organization could be less competitive. In order to contend effectively, there must be constant training because not everyone in the organization possesses knowledge, skills, and abilities needed. The former training of employees is not that effective now. The employees training today has no assurance that it will still be effective in the future because of the constant change that is happening that we have no ability to stop. So the best way to cope with change is to keep on upgrading the training so as not to be left behind. Next excerpt. Training could minimize or avoid accidents, scrap, and damage to machinery and equipment. If employees are trained well, customer dissatisfaction, complaints from stakeholders, absenteeism, and turnover can be reduced. There are many companies today that are experiencing various problems caused by workplace accidents, equipment damage, loss of customers, etc. etc. That if only the current employees were well trained, the problems they are experiencing would have been avoided. The last excerpt. No longer is physical capital served as a gauge of competitiveness. Intelligence of workforce is now the material for sale in this information age. Knowledge management is an in thing today. It's not enough now that you can just do something. You must be strategic. You must be able to handle unexpected workplace events. You must know how to impart your knowledge with new employees. You should know how to lead employees under your jurisdiction to perform to the maximum level. That's what companies are looking for today. An employee that can manage, employee that can lead and motivate the members of his or her team. And so this is where the discussion ends, and I hope that you learned many things, important things that you can use in your life and in your career. Bye.